Okay, we're ready to do mission 10 of 10 for the Advanced Military Career Path. We're going to be stepping back on this one and letting you take control of the situation. One of our patrols spotted a small group of suspicious vessels headed towards a local pleasure hub. After processing their ship's ID tags, we've determined that one of the pilots is a known terrorist responsible for dozens of station bombings. A Concorde raid into the premises would be picked up by the terrorists well before the ships actually arrived. We need this murderer taken out while we have his location, so you must move in yourself and assassinate him, understand? Now, the objective: kill the terrorist leader inside the pleasure hub, and it's going to be inside our current system. Granted items, so they're actually giving us this ship at the beginning of the mission before we even finish it. Let's take a look at that in a second. Let's see what it says down here. Tactics for the fight ahead. Be prepared for him to use a warp disruptor and a stasis web of fire. So this means we're going to be slowed down and we're not going to be able to warp away. So it's going to be guaranteed a fight to the death for one of us. I do not suggest you fit warp core stabilizers though. They will negatively impact your locking time and locking range and take up precious low power slots. That could be used to increase your damage, your capacitor recharge, or your repair abilities. So he's saying don't bother trying to equip warp core stabilizers to offset the warp disruptor, because you're not going to need to warp away. You need to stay there and kill him anyway. Also keep your eyes on the prize. Your primary target is the terrorist, not his wingmen, and it's your call whether you need to take them down as well. If you do, you may need to start by picking off the weakest targets from a distance, possibly with varying ammunition types. Okay, so let's check out this ship they're going to give us. Let's accept it. Close. Let's open our inventory and check out our ship hangar. There it is, the Cormorant. Let's right click and show info. The Cormorant, it's a destroyer. 10% bonus per level of destroyer, Caldari destroyer. 10% bonus to tracking speed. 10% bonus to optimal range for small hybrid turrets. 50% bonus to hybrid turret optimal range. Okay, so this thing's going to give us a lot of extra range and a lot of tracking speed. So this thing's going to hit very well from very far. If we go under fitting, we can see that it actually has 8 high power slots with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 turret hardpoints and 1 launcher hardpoint. So we can fit 7 blasters and a rocket launcher on this ship, which is a ton of firepower. This is called a destroyer. It's 1 level up from a frigate, and this thing destroys frigates. All right, let's see. How about requirements? Oh, it looks like we don't have the requirements yet. We actually need Caldari Frigate level 3 and Caldari Destroyer level 1. And it's telling us here it would take us 17 hours to train up all the skills to be able to fly that. So if we wanted, we could queue up these skills. We could click train level 2, and then I could hold it and I could say train level 3. And then I can hold mouse over this and I could say buy and train. So because I don't have the Caldari Destroyer skill, I'm going to have to buy it for 130,000, and it'll take me 16 hours to get level 1. No, that's until we can actually learn the prerequisites. So let's click buy and train. It'll confirm we want to pay 130,000 ISK. And it says this skill does not fit in the training queue. So let's go check out our training queue. Alt X or open it here. Let's see, why don't we take out this shield emission systems? And now it looks like we have some blank space at the end of our queue before our 24-hour limit. So it was called destroyers. It's under spaceship command, and we can search for it too. We can search for destroyer. And here we go, Caldari Destroyer. So we can click train level 1, or we can drag and drop it where we want. We can't put it here because the prerequisites aren't done. We have to put it after Caldari Frigate 3. And we can even queue up level 2 And it looks like we even have room to queue up level 3 if we wanted to. Why don't I do it this way? Train level 3. And if we wanted, we could cancel our shield emission systems. So here, it looks like it's going to take us 1 day and 9 hours to train up and complete all the way through Caldari Destroyer level 3. But it's going to take us about 16 hours, 17 hours before we get through and complete Caldari Destroyer 1. So you could wait 17 hours before you could fly that ship, but I'm just going to equip one of my combat ships that I already have. So I'm going to try the Merlin. I know that's one of my combat ships. I'm going to click Assemble. I'm going to right click and make active. Now the ship that I was just in with my rocket launcher, I'm going to right click that one and click Strip Fitting. So all the modules will go into my item hanger. So I can reuse them on this ship if I want. Now let me open my fitting window. And let's start fitting out this ship. Let's start with these 2 blasters. And it doesn't look like there's 3 turret hardpoints, but there's no launcher hardpoints. So we actually can't fit that missile launcher in here. I guess we can actually, because this is a civilian light missile launcher, which means it has less requirements. Which is lucky for us. It means we can put more guns. Let's drag our ammo onto the guns. Let's put our extra ammo in our cargo. Let's equip the better afterburner that we have. Let's add the stasis webifier and the warp disruptor. And then let's also add our shield booster. In the bottom, let's drop in all these overdrive injectors to make our ship go faster. And this looks pretty good. We've got propulsion, we can slow down the enemy, we can heal our shield, we can do some damage, and our DPS looks like 33 DPS. And our ship navigation, we're going 455 base with 980 meters a second with our afterburner. So our ship looks like it's in pretty good shape. We should insure it. Right click on the ship, go to insure, and it'll just tell you that you can't repackage it or you will lose your insurance. And it's always best if you can afford it to get the highest level, because you'll get paid out the most when the ship gets blown up, and it will eventually get blown up. Okay, let's close our fitting window and undock. Close our item hanger as well. And then let's go finish this off and kill this pirate leader. Okay, warp to location. Now what I'm going to do with my guns, because these 2 guns are of the same type, I can click and I can drag and I can stack them on top of each other and treat them as a single unit. And again, I can move around these modules. So all of my offensive modules I'm going to put on the top, so I can just press F1, 2, 3, 4 and apply all of my offensive modules to my target. And I'll keep my utility modules on the middle. Scanners are picking up 3 hostiles moving into their ships now. Looks like they've noticed you. Good luck. You need to destroy the terrorist leader. Let's focus on him. Right click, lock target. Right click, orbit, 500 meters. Activate afterburner. And now we got to get in range now. Once we get into 10 kilometers, we can apply our web, which will slow him down and give us a better control of the range. Now, if we look at him on our overview, he's going 274. Our radial's negative 1,000. Oh, now he's webbing me, and he's disrupting me. So I won't be able to warp away. So we have to finish this guy. I'm going to click orbit 500 now. I'm going to activate my rocket launcher and my other gun. While I'm at it, they're taking a bunch of damage on my shield. They're doing a bunch of damage, so I'm going to click my shield booster. And I'm going to try and repair my shield. I'm probably not going to be able to repair more than they're doing, but we'll see how it goes. His shield's getting low. He's already below 50% shield. I've repaired my shield, but I've used up a lot of my capacitor. So I'm going to turn off my shield booster. Hopefully some of my capacitor will be able to recharge, because I'm not using a ton with my stasis web of fire and my guns. And now we're already into his armor now. His armor's going down, our shield's doing okay. I can even boost it up a little bit more. I'll let it run for a couple cycles to boost up my shield. Now I'm going to turn it off. Now this guy is going down pretty quick now. His armor's almost down. And I'm just completely ignoring the other two for now. You might decide to kill them first. My approach is just to pick this guy and tank the damage that they're doing and repair it with my shield booster. I still have some capacitor left, so I'm doing pretty good. Okay, he's dead. Let's try and loot him. Let's select his wreck here, click approach, and click open cargo. And as soon as we get close enough, let me disable my shield booster. Oh look, he dropped a nice overdrive injector and a nice warp disruptor. These are better than the Tech 1 modules. Let's loot it, and let's go back and dock at our station and get out of here. Let's not worry about these guys. Now if we wanted, let me open my cargo. When we're back at the station, we could equip these things to our ship. So if we look here, we've got Overdrive Injector System 1. This is a Type D restrained overdrive injector. It's going to give us even more boost. And here we have a faint scoped warp disruptor, which is going to be better than our civilian warp disruptor by far. And it'll be better in different ways. It might require less CPU. It might have a longer range. It might require less capacitor. There's lots of different aspects. And if you want to compare them, you can right click, show info, and then this one doesn't have the variations because it's the civilian one. So let's do this. Let's go to our ship cargo and let's find it. Here it is. The faint scoped warp disruptor, right click, show info, and then you go to variations. And you can see there's the Warp Disruptor 1, the Faint Scoped Warp Disruptor, the Initiated Compact, the J5 Enduring, the Warp Disruptor 2, and then there's Faction ones. And you can click Compare, and then expand the window because it's a little tight to begin with. Now from here, you can choose what attributes you're actually interested in comparing. In this case, maybe the CPU usage and the activation cost. And then we can choose which ones to look at here. So here we want the faint scoped one that uses 40 teraflops and 25 gigajoules. The Warp Disruptor 1 uses 40 teraflops and 25 gigajoules. So those values are actually the same. So maybe something else is different. Maybe the optimal range is different. And you can go through here and you can see, okay, actually it is. The Warp Disruptor 1 is good for 20 kilometers, and this one's actually good for 22, so it's got a longer range, which is nice. Okay, let's start a conversation with our agent. Complete mission. We are now done with 10 out of 10. Let's see what he says. Excellent work. You've proven you know how to handle yourself in deadly situations. What you've overcome today represents only a fraction of the threat of skilled Capsuleer poses. But the basic premises are the same. Warp scramblers, web of fires, afterburners, and a weapon of choice. With these tools, the knowledge to use them, and the courage to try again in the face of a ship loss, you can become much more than you are now. Remember, it is as much about a mindset as it is the ships that you choose. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I've arranged to have your standings with the Caldari state increased. This bump in your reputation will help you enlist in factional warfare, where you can fight alongside your own people. There are many battles being fought over the occupancy of strategic systems, and every ship makes a difference. So factional warfare is something you can sign up for, and you can sign up for any of the 4 factions as long as you have the right standing. Now, the Caldari are allied with the Amarr, and they fight the Gallente and the Minmatar. And factional warfare is a special war that is always going on, that you can basically fight with any of the with any of the Minmatar or Gallente ones. If they're your enemy faction, you can fight with them and shoot them and blow them up without any negative repercussion because your factions are at war. So it's a way of kind of safely doing war, I say safely in the sense that you're not going to become a pirate and have bad standings with the police and not be able to go into high sec. So it's kind of a sanctioned form of warfare. And it's a good way of getting your feet into PvP without taking huge risks and having to go out into nullsec. So factional warfare is definitely fun and worth trying out if you want to try out some player versus player combat. Whether you follow that path or take another is up to you. I would recommend that you enroll in other training courses if you haven't already. That's the other career agents. And learn as much as you can before making any long-term plans. My work here, though, is done. I thank you for the help you've given us, and I hope you've learned something in return. Fly safe. So your big reward here is the Cormorant. And you ideally want to skill up to that and put 8 guns on it and go out and shoot stuff. You can go out to the asteroid belts and shoot rats. You can find cosmic anomalies, or you can scan down cosmic signatures. You can also find agents. If you go to the agency, or Alt-M, and you go to agents and missions, instead of doing the career agents, which we're doing now, which are one-time agents that you can only do once, you can find mission agents. And there are different agents for different things. You can find mining agents who will essentially give you quests to do mining missions. You can do distribution, which were basically you're going to move this from here to there. And then there's security agents. If you want to do combat, go find security agents and they'll give you combat missions, and you'll find lots of bad guys to go kill. So with that, go out there, fight, and use the market to buy ships and weapons or blueprints to build your own, and go shoot.